Hello Internet, welcome to another episode of A2B Video with me, your host, A2B. And it's been a while since I made another video. The last video I made about Disney's Descendants was almost 6 months ago, so wow, time really flies, man. Okay, in this video, I'm gonna do a little bit something different. This is a quick review video, so it's not a watch through as in I review a movie from very beginning to the very end. In this review, I will just probably discuss the movie in brief, and in which brief, basically I'm going to talk about more or less 15 minutes. I don't know how many minutes, we'll see about that. So, as you know from the title, I'm going to talk about the new Power Rangers movie, which just came out last Saturday in my country. Okay, first of all, I'm sorry if I speak rather gibberishly or rather tongue-tied every time I speak. This is basically how I speak, okay? When I do these quick views, I prefer to be unscripted rather than scripted. I prefer to speak from the soul every time I do a review after a movie that I watch in cinema. So, I'm sorry if it's a little bit uncomfortable for you guys to watch, and it's a little uncomfortable for me to say. I've been a fan of the franchise. I've been a fan of Power Rangers since I was a kid. I grew up watching Mighty Morphins, I grew up watching Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Turbo. Right now, I'm tuning into Power Rangers Ninja Steel every week, so I love Power Rangers, okay? I love the franchise, okay? So, moving on, let's talk about the movie. This movie is a reboot, if you can say a reboot or a remake of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I mean Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. If you grew up in the 90s or maybe the early 2000s, if you watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so you basically know the story. 5 teenagers with attitude transform into a colorful rainbow bright superhero by this giant floating head named Zordon to fight off evil monster and an evil sorceress from outer space named Rita Repulsa. The premise is like that. However, let's talk about the story in this movie. The story in this movie, the premise is much similar. It's similar to the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. As in, I say Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I mean Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I have to give kudos to the to the director or the writer of this movie. They give a more brief and deep explanation who Zordon is, who Rita is, who these 5 teenagers with attitude is, and how did they become Power Rangers and stuff. And to be honest, I'm glad they did that. I'm really glad they did an explanation who why Zordon wants these 5 to fight Rita and not just finding random 5 teenagers with attitude to become superhero and then fight giant monster. No. I like the fact that they give more explanation in which those explanations are not that complicated. They give explanation on who Zordon is in a simple way. Hey, maybe go say you want to learn how to make a simple explanation? Okay, so anyway, the movie start off with 65 or 68,000 years ago. And now this is the thing that surprises me. Zordon in this movie, he started off as the original Red Ranger. Now, like I said, I give kudos to that. They give a brief history on who Zordon is. And Rita Repulsa, surprisingly, she's also a Ranger. She's the original Green Ranger. That explains her green outfit that everyone talked about when first the picture of Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa was revealed. So there you go, she's the Green Ranger and she's evil. Now, they fought 68,000 years ago, and eventually, I think both Rita and Zordon lost. Zordon went back to the command center and became digitalized into this giant floating head you've seen in the trailers. And Rita was blown away to the oceans, and she slept there for 68 or 65,000 years. Moving on to the future, 68,000 years later, we are introduced to these 5 Rangers. If you're familiar with the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger characters, so then you know who the characters are, which are Jason, the Red Ranger, Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, Billy, the Blue Ranger, Zack, the Black Ranger, and Trini, the Yellow Ranger. Here's the thing about the Rangers. I like that the fact they give deep character development on each Ranger. No, sorry, not each and every Ranger. The only deep development and that we are really invested on are Jason, Kimberly, and Billy, while Zach and Trini is, I feel that those two are just kind of there. They're just introduced, yeah, because we need 5 Rangers, then you got 5 Rangers now, yeah. Maybe they will make a sequel in which Trini and Zach gets more development, I don't know. So anyway, Jason in this movie is a little bit different from the Jason that we see in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We know that in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with Austin St. John, he was a karate teacher, and one of his one of his students was Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger. But in this movie, he was famous. He was famous not only in school but on the entire town of Angel Grove. So he's a famous high school football player that suddenly became not. If I'm saying, is it right for me to say naughty, or he became like a troublemaker for no reason at all? Probably it's because he has a lot of expectation going with him, with his father especially. So Jason in this, Jason is a popular kid. He's a popular guy, and to be honest, every time I see Jason in this movie, all I can think about is Troy Bolton from High School Musical, as in this famous athlete from school. And not to mention, he has a very strict dad. He has a very strict dad, or a very motivated dad, that he wants Jason to have a good life, to have a bright future ahead of him, especially in football. I mean, they always say that, think about the future, think about the future. And so Jason basically feels kind of uncomfortable with his dad. One thing about Jason's dad in this movie that I noticed, that he looks like Austin St. John. Do you see that when you watch the movie? He legitimately looks like Austin St. John. The first time you see him, I was like, is that Austin St. John? I would legitimately pop down him when he was Austin St. John. Billy Cranston, he has also a good relationship with Jason in this movie, which I like. In the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he's also quite close with Jason and also with Kimberly. So Billy is the nerd guy, as well, you know, the nerd. And in this movie, surprise, he's black, which is not a surprise anymore if you watch the trailers. So he gets bullied often in juvenile class, juvenile detention class. And if you notice, the bully in this, the bully in this movie, Billy with this curly hair, I don't know what his name is, but every time he pops on the screen, I was like, oh look, it's Skull. I don't know what's his name, but let's just call him Skull. Skull bullies him hard, and then Jason always defends Billy, just like in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series, as I remember it. One thing I really wish about this bully was, every time he appeared, I really wish there was a Bulk and Skull theme, like I would legitimately pop if that happens. We got Kimberly. We have Kimberly. Kimberly is also a popular girl at school, so probably she's the hottest school girl. She's the hot chick in school, and she's on juvenile detention because she basically blackmailed this guy named Ty. I don't know, with a picture. I don't know what picture, it was never shown. Maybe it's a picture of, you know, teenager, the guy having those fun nights, partying and horizontally dancing. You know those stories. Yeah, but so those 3 Rangers have deep development in this movie, while Zach and Trini, these 2 are just there. I mean, we got to know a little bit about Zach and Trini, but not as deep as the other 3 Rangers. So anyways, these 5 Rangers met in a mine, and Billy accidentally founds 5 Ranger coins. They said 5 gems, which was the Ranger coins, and they got their respective color. And one thing I like about this movie, that they don't automatically become Power Rangers. So once they have those power coins, they receive super strength. Okay, they receive super strength, and then once they feel like, oh, I feel so powerful. What happened to us? So they decide to went back to the mine and found out that deep buried in the mine there was the command center, and they were greeted by Alpha 5, which at first when I saw Alpha 5 I was like, whoa. He looks like those creepy child molesters with those long tentacle arm thing, and okay, I know. I'm getting nerdy, but that's just me. He's still a little creepy in this movie. And they were explained that you didn't, they met Zordon, a giant floating hand, and of course, the guy who played Zordon is none other than Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston in this movie, he's amazing. He's always giving his A game every role that he has. Kudos to him. And he explained that the 5 power coins chose them. They did not found these power coins by accident. They were led to this. So there are Power Rangers, and all of them was like, what? Power what? And my favorite part was Billy. Billy is by far my favorite Ranger in this movie. And he's like, Power Ranger? Is that the super? Are we like Iron Man or Spider-Man? I love Billy to death in this movie. He is amazing. I don't know how to spell it. RJ Seiler, whatever his name is. Kudos to you. You're my favorite Ranger in this movie. And one more thing about Billy. Have I mentioned it before that Billy reminded me less of the original Billy Cranston from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He reminded me more of Ethan from Power Rangers Dino Thunder. You know, the Blue Ranger in the series. Yeah, basically he's the nerd, right? Ethan is also a nerd, and he's the comic relief of this show. Of this movie. Basically, he's like Ethan from Dino Thunder. He always made me laugh in the show. Rita Repulsa. Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa nails it. She is god awesome. She is awesome. She is terrifying as Rita Repulsa. I legitimately got scared every time she gave a jump scare, like, and then. So, 65,000 years later, after she was washed away in the ocean, she was found by Jason's dad, who apparently he was a fisherman. He found this, what is this? It's like a woman mummy or something. And she woke up the next day when the police find her. And one thing I was rather disappointed that when she woke up, she just attacked the policeman without saying anything. I really wish when she woke up after 68,000 years, she was like, after 68,000 years I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth! I would literally pop again if she ever said that. There was a little doubt with me if Elizabeth Banks can play this character, but she nailed it. She is god awesome as Elizabeth Banks. If this was the Rita Repulsa that I grew up watching, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I would legitimately freaked out with Rita Repulsa. I will not watch any Power Ranger with Rita Repulsa in it. So another positive thing about this movie, that the Rangers need to train before they become actual Power Rangers. So they cannot morph until they are fully trained. Now I will not spoil a lot of details in this movie because you have to watch it yourself, because I don't want to give too much spoilers in it. But they have to train to become worthy of wearing the Ranger armor. So they're not just, oh, Jason, you have the power of T-Rex, you will be the Red Ranger. Kimberly, you will have the power of Pterodactyl, you will be the Pink Ranger. No, Zordon did not work like that in this movie, and I like it. I liked it a lot. There's built to the 5 teenagers wearing the armor in the end, and it's an armor. It's not your spandex, you know, your colorful spandex suit. It's legit armor like you see in the trailer. I'm glad that they made this movie not as dark as the DC series, so people come to when this movie came, people were like, oh my god, this is gonna be suck like Fantastic Four, isn't it? It's gonna be those dark. They're gonna copy the dark style of Christopher Nolan or the dark style of DC Cinematic Universe, and they're gonna be suck. No, I'm glad that they did not do that. Yes, it's serious. This movie is more serious than the cheesy 1990s Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But at the same time, you have those, you know, campy, cheesy jokes that makes it fun. And to be honest, I like Power Ranger when it's cheesy. I want Power Rangers cheesy. I don't want a dark Power Rangers or a violent one like the fan-made internet short movie about Power Rangers. You know, the dark, the violence with the gore. I don't like that. Okay, I don't want that. I want Power Rangers to be serious. I also want Power Rangers to be serious, but not as dark or violent as the, you know, that internet short movie. So this format, in my opinion, it works. Another thing that I was kind of disappointed with this movie is Goldar's design. I don't know what's up with this high budget Hollywood movies that that uses a lot of CGI, but I really don't like when they rely too much on CGI and give just a jumbled mess of a character or of a monster. As you know, the monster in Power Rangers, they play a huge role. I mean, you need monsters in Power Rangers. They're basically, every episode of Power Rangers, the series, you have monsters. They're basically part of the Power Rangers franchise. You can't live without them. So, I was like, what? Goldar? That's not Goldar. That's just a giant gold, melted gold thingy. Okay, let's just skip to the conclusion. So, conclusion. Do I like this movie? Is this movie more phenomenal, or is this movie a super mega fail? In my opinion, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with this movie. I like the fact that it's serious, but it's also campy and cheesy at the same time. It's not a dark, violent movie that I was worried that it will be going to be, but it's decent. It's very decent. There are minus things that this movie could have been better, but because of those things, it's just feel eh. One of them is Zack and Trini, and another thing that I haven't mentioned is that like almost every superhero movie cliche, most of the actions are crammed in the end. I don't like that happen. And not only that, during the middle of during the second act, it feels a little slow. Okay, so the first act we always get a very deep character introduction. Second act, blah 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 blah, slow. Third act, now it's good. It's full of action. I don't like those kind of things. I will give this movie 7.8, which is 7.8 out of 10, which is good in my opinion. It's decent. Final say about this movie is if you're a fan of the Power Rangers Power Rangers series, Power Rangers franchise, you grew up watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you're gonna like this movie. But if you are those guys who are salty towards Power Rangers, who thinks Power Rangers are just cheesy children's show, who thinks Power Rangers sucks, or you think that it's a waste of time, I don't like Power Rangers, basically anything, I'm anti-Power Rangers, then you're not gonna like this movie. So do you like this movie? Do you like watching Power Rangers 2017? Give a comment below. If you like this, if you like my review about Power Rangers, give that thumbs up and a click. And if you don't like my review, well, you watch it until the end, like I said. So, thanks for watching anyway. Okay, so I see you guys next time in the next video. Goodbye!